So, guys, a franchise that I have been really passionate about for a number of years, and obviously I've kind of lost my touch with the franchise, and I think it's a few different reasons, but I want to give you guys a number of reasons why the Assassin's Creed franchise has kind of gone off into a strange direction and has kind of lost me as not necessarily as a fan, but as a casual gamer when it comes to the franchise. And so in this last segment of the show, I want to talk about what happened to Assassin's Creed. So let's talk about it. So I think there's a number of things here, guys. Number of moving parts as to why Assassin's Creed, I think, kind of went into a different direction. This article was written by Study Breaks, and it was written by Christian Nelson. How Assassin's Creed lost its way. If you can't jump off a rooftop into a haystack, you're not playing an Assassin's Creed game. I disagree with that statement, but nonetheless, it's kind of just the beginning, right? Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. That's the maxim for the Assassin's Creed games, though now it seems to apply to the entire franchise in the worst of ways. Recent news concerning the upcoming installment in the series, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which obviously, guys, this article was written back in 2018, just so you know, confirms that not only will one of the two playable characters be non-canon, meaning they technically don't exist in the game's universe, but the ending of the game is not even in the game. It's in a book. So right there, guys, that's a big problem, right? And, obviously Ubisoft has tried to kind of right the ship in a way, but there's a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths with Assassin's Creed. And it's really unfortunate. It's a really unfortunate thing. Now, the first entry in the Assassin's Creed series hasn't aged well and wasn't anything to write home about when it first came out either. Much of the game involves sitting on benches to eavesdrop and trailing people to pick their pockets to gain information on your target's whereabouts and fortifications. Not terribly exciting, and even the more exciting bits boiled down to choosing to stealth kill your target and booking it out of there, or just go in guns blazing, or more accurately, swords a-swinging, and kill a mini-army before searching your target. Still, the unique experience of the game had its charm. For starters, the game took place during the Third Crusade, and while it obviously took liberties on how some events went down, the map accurately represented the cities that existed at the time, adding a nice level of immersion. So the first game, guys, to me I liked it because it kind of was innovating. It was obviously the first of the entire franchise. So playing it, I'm like, this really could develop into something really cool and really special. It wasn't until you got to the next couple of games where it was like, wow, this really could be something special. But obviously, after those first few games, I think that's where, at least they kind of were starting to lose me as far as the story's concerned and all of that. Now, some fans consider Assassin's Creed 2 the best game in the series, and it's certainly a true high point. It vastly improved upon its predecessor in terms of both gameplay and story, and traversing Renaissance Italy is truly amazing. The game also introduced another layer to the story, one that deepened the feud between the Order and the Creed. In the game, Ezio, the Italian assassin and ancestor Desmond was learning about throughout the Animus, searches for codex pages scattered across Italy, and written by none other than Altair. Once he collects all the pages, they reveal a coming prophet who will open the vault by using 2 pieces of Eden. Players saw a piece at the end of the first game, and they can learn a lot about the usage of the pieces throughout human history by finding and deciphering glyphs found in Assassin's Creed 2. So Assassin's Creed 2, guys, I thought was great. I thought it was a very well done addition. It was kind of like that sequel, and it kind of put everything up a notch. I missed, I didn't like when it came to one thing that bothered me about the franchise was we were kind of playing as different characters each game, it kind of felt like, and it still feels like that to this day, that you're just playing different characters. It's like, I like having kind of one narrative overall. Now, they keep saying that Assassin's Creed is all going to come together and you're going to realize what all it is, and but there is a lot of mystery to it. I especially remember in Revelations, lots of mystery behind that game. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. Assassin's Creed 3 received lukewarm reviews from fans, with the universal highlight being the naval combat the game introduced to the series. Additionally, there had always been talk on online forums that the modern-day story wasn't needed and that people would prefer to not be taken away from climbing buildings and stabbing people every few hours for a story they couldn't care less about. It appears as though Microsoft took all of this into consideration when making their next installment, which was Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which garnered extremely positive acclaim for basically being a pirate game. Even the tutorial writes off your assassin training as skills a pirate can pick up on their first attempt. The land missions occur in the traditional Assassin's Creed style, featuring plenty of eavesdrop missions and hiding in haystacks, but the game is really played out on the open seas and might as well be an entirely different IP. And I'd have to agree with that, guys. Look, once we got to Black Flag, I just started to kind of distance myself from Assassin's Creed, started playing other games. And then when you had like Unity, Syndicate, Origins, Odyssey, I mean, all these different games that have come out now, I really haven't even played them that much. And I'll tell you why I really haven't played some of the more recent games. I haven't played because they force you to do side missions in order to move on in the main missions. And I'll tell you why I don't like that. I feel the same exact thing with Far Cry 5. When it comes to these franchises, and you're getting kind of engulfed in, you're getting into the story and you're really starting to enjoy the story, you don't want to be taken out of that story. You want to find out what happens next. But whenever the game forces you to do side missions and things of that nature, it's going to take you out of the story and you almost forget like what's even going on, because sometimes those side missions can take a while. You have to do multiple side missions even to figure out, to get to that next portion. And I can't stand that about these games. I love that they want you to do the side missions, but I like having the option to do the side missions when I want to do the side missions. So that was like one glaring issue I've had with Assassin's Creed. I've also had the issue that as far as like what happened with the franchise, I think they tried too much to be like a Call of Duty, not from the standpoint of a first-person shooter, but from the standpoint of bringing out way too many games way too soon. Just kept on trying to pump out these games and oversaturating these games. And I know they do very well, but it's not Call of Duty. Call of Duty has a very established brand that over the years, that they just bring out a game every year and it does really, really well as far as sales goes. Assassin's Creed doesn't really have that. And especially with all the changes that they've been making and the story, the narrative itself, and just making all of those changes, always kind of changing up the characters, which I know Call of Duty does. But once again, Assassin's Creed isn't on the same, even in the same stratosphere as Call of Duty is as far as, brand recognition. So Assassin's Creed, I think, has really struggled with that as well. Assassin's Creed has had an issue finding its identity, and that's really what it comes down to me as to what has happened to Assassin's Creed as of late. So I think that to kind of end off this with this article, as the modern day story, you play yourself as an employee of Abstergo, exploring the life of Edward Kenway for official entertainment purposes and unofficial Templar business. Other than that, and a cutscene at the end of the game, the modern day story is non-existent and practically goes nowhere. This is the formula that the future releases would follow. Add in some new gimmicks. Unity had co-op, Syndicate had two-player protagonists, and Origins is basically an RPG, and spin the wheels of the modern story just enough to create a thin thread that connects these games. The fact that Odyssey takes place before Origins means any connection to the Assassins will be minuscule, and doubling down on the RPG elements Origins introduced takes the game further from its roots. And now it's confirmed that the story the player experiences won't even matter. The new identity of Assassin's Creed is whatever it needs to be, sell, and that's truly a shame. So, yeah, guys, Assassin's Creed has it's taken a really bad turn, unfortunately, in my eyes. Now, I know there's still significant fans of the franchise, and I'm happy for all of you who really enjoy Assassin's Creed and you like every installment that comes out. But from from a player who was there in the beginning to see kind of the origins of Assassin's Creed to now where it's kind of come to with the story and everything, it just kind of felt, because I even remember after I finished Revelations, I remember wondering, like, where are they going with this story? This is getting very weird and I'm confused as to what is even going on. And at that point, I was like, I have a bad feeling about this. And sure enough, it's kind of, they really have had an identity crisis. They can't figure out what it is exactly they want to do, and it's created massive problems for the Assassin's Creed franchise. Now, sure, there is a massive following of Assassin's Creed, which is great, and I really hope that Ubisoft moves this franchise in the right direction. But part of me wonders if they need to kind of wrap it up here soon and move into other IPs like Splinter Cell, which is something that tons of people want. And, even like, continuing Rainbow Six and other games like Ubisoft that Ubisoft owns. I just feel that Assassin's Creed, if you're going to continue it, just take your time with the game. Take your time. Don't try to be Call of Duty. Don't try to be anybody but Assassin's Creed. Just be Assassin's Creed, and we're all going to love that it's Assassin's Creed. Make it feel like Assassin's Creed. I mean, it's cool going back to the Egyptian times or, here or there, the Roman times, whatever it might be. That's all great. But you really got to I feel like at least those first 3 Assassin's Creed games, they had a vision for where they wanted to go, and they kind of went in that direction. And sure, it kind of got really convoluted near the end of like Revelations and such, but at the same time, this is a game that I'm cheering for. Like, I want these games to get better, and I hope they do over time. But this is just one guy's opinion on it, everyone, and I would love to hear from all of you. What do you guys think about Assassin's Creed, and what do you think happened to the franchise? Do you think that the franchise is just fine? Like, do you think that it's just going to keep going and it's going to be fine? Do you enjoy it? Let me know what you guys think. I would love to have a conversation about it in the comment section below. But let me know, guys, as far as, do you think that Assassin's Creed needs to kind of be put on the shelf for a little period of time, or do you think that they need to keep working on it but just take their time with the game? Let me know what you guys think. I would love to have a conversation about it.